Have you ever been told you're too sensitive, too emotional, too dramatic? I got told this a lot when I was a kid. Um, because I've got a lot of empathy. I think that's why I do the job that I do, to be honest. And I was always told that I was just too sensitive about stuff, and that really, it made me feel like it was something that I was doing wrong, you know. Um, but I know now that it wasn't something I was doing wrong. That was just the nature of me and how I am. Um, and I'm probably still a bit sensitive and a bit too emotional. And I can be a bit dramatic at times, but that doesn't define me as a person. That just adds to my qualities. But here's the truth, okay? You are not too much. You were just made to feel like your emotions were inconvenient. So I want to talk about healing emotional shame. This happens, emotional shame happens quite a lot. And I don't mean to sound judgmental here, and I don't mean to offend anybody. So if it offends you, then I'm sorry. And that's my apology for it. But I tend to find that this happens quite a lot in Asian families. Um, based on religion and stuff like that. I've had quite a few clients that have been Asians and they've come to me, and this is one of the big issues that they have. So I remember crying at school once and being told to stop overreacting. It was about, I remember it so vividly. It was about, it was a drama class, it was primary school, it was a drama class, and we'd all been learning the parts of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And I'd set my heart on getting the part of Dorothy, and I didn't get it. I worked so hard and I didn't get it. And I cried. And I was told by one of the teachers that I was just overreacting and I shouldn't be so down about it, and that I could have one of the other parts. I didn't want one of the other parts. I wanted Dorothy. And then another teacher came along. I remember her vividly. She was called Miss Barrow. She was a big, hefty lady. She was lovely. And she put her arm around me and said, "It doesn't matter that you didn't get Dorothy. What matters is you took the time and the effort to, to learn the part and do the work and all that kind of stuff." And then in the end, the girl who got Dorothy instead of me turned out to be poorly, and I ended up getting Dorothy anyway. But from that moment on, I learned then to hold in quite a lot of emotions and not let them go. I learned just to smile at things, just to nod, just to keep it all together, not showing what your emotions were. And I hate that. I hate it when I hear people saying to little boys, "Stop crying. Little boys don't cry." That drives me insane. And the reason why it drives me insane is because little boys have just as much emotions and the same emotions as little girls do. And if you keep suppressing them emotions when that little boy is a little boy, when he gets to an adult, he isn't going to be able to understand his emotions at all. And that's the reason why a lot of teenagers today can't get a grip on how they're feeling, because they're taught to suppress their emotions so much. This is one of them topics that I could talk about for ages because it drives me mad. And, I think it's a reason why we have a lot of children doing things to themselves that that no child should ever be doing. And that then carries on into adulthood. So I want you to remember that those tears never disappear. They just get buried deeper and deeper down. So I'm going to show you a way of being able to, to get past this. Emotional shame is something that we learn, and we learn it from being a child. And it comes from being punished or being ignored or being, mocked, made a fool of, whenever we show that emotion. And as I said before, this is something that I'm really passionate about, and it it drives me mad that children are allowed to show their emotions, especially little boys. So over time, we internalize the belief my feelings are a burden, emotions are bad, we shouldn't show our emotions, it means we're weak, all that stuff that I could just slap people silly when they say it to the children. But what I want you to know, and what I want you to teach your children, if you have children, or teenagers or whatever, is emotions aren't bad. Emotions are messengers, and they help us to process how we're feeling, what we're feeling, why we're feeling like that. It's a way of you getting in to talk to your child, or even adults. Adults suppress their emotions so much. I did a thing a few months ago now about male suicide, and how much that has risen so much because they don't talk about what's going on. They don't talk about the feelings. They feel that it's weak. I could talk about this forever. It's one of the things that I would love to get into schools so that they have a lesson on emotions and how to show them emotions, how to navigate them emotions, how to just show their emotions, talk about them, whatever it might be. So when you have therapy, it's a place where you unlearn these messages and you validate the emotions that were once silenced. You can talk about them without feeling shame. And in coaching sessions, I help people to reclaim the voice, to learn how to regulate emotions and create relationships where your needs really matter. It doesn't have to be that you can't show your emotions. I have quite a lot of male clients that have come to me and they'll say, well, I can't really talk about things to my wife because it makes me look weak. Or my dad would have said to me, oh, come on, son, what's up with you? Put your big boy pants on and all that kind of stuff. Drives me insane. It infuriates me. It really does. So what I want you to think about is, what would you change if you believed your feelings were valid? And that crying wasn't a weakness, but a wisdom. I want you to do some journaling around that and think about it. Especially if you're a man listening to this now, I want you to do some journaling around it and I want you to think about it. And I want you to write down some reasons why you was told crying is a weakness and why you know that that's simply not true. And if you're healing from emotional shame, you don't have to do it alone. My 6-week therapy program is a safe space to feel again. Or you can check out my life coaching for building emotional confidence. You are not too much. You're not a big softy. You're a deep feeling human being. So if you feel that you need that help, please get in touch. I've put some links down below where you can get in touch. Phone calls, emails, messages, whatever it is for you. But please, if you're struggling and you're struggling to a point where you feel like you've had enough, then please get in touch. I shall see you all again soon. Bye for now.